turtle all of a sudden? And my stats suck? And nobody uses me? Oh boy, what happened to me?
I mean, his main reason of existence is self-destruct, I will say.
Oh.
That's a bit of my answer. I think Golem's biggest regret is self-destruct. But Geodude learned self-destruct before he can evolve. And you know Pokemon, like, oh man, I got a new move, I gotta try this out. And he dies. It's Pokemon. He faints. And he has to come back and relive that experience. He's like, damn, I did that? That was good. But he realizes he just has to keep doing it. And even as an adult, instead of self-destructing, he explodes. It gets even bigger, and he has to live with that every time he comes back to life.
Holy shit, that's like an extension of Cade's of like...
I avoid shake my hands.
He regrets self-destructing. Holy shit. Holy.
His biggest regret is that he did not grow any facial hair. He looks over longingly at Alolan Golem, his luxurious, massive beard. Alolan Golem is the one pulling all the chicks, and Golem is over here, like Void and Cade have already explained. He's just living through this perpetual life of exploding over and over again.
I actually think that this guy carries like quite an intense burden. Like looking at him, looking at his deal. I actually think that he killed a guy. I think. So, yeah, no, I mean, I think that it was an accident, but one time on a hiking trail, he was rolling down the trail as rock Pokemon do, and he just crushed a hiker to death beneath his body, and every night he thinks about what he could have done different.
This question was like a lot more sad than I anticipated it was going to be.
I know. I didn't. People
Maybe
are
I
gonna look at
shouldn't
Golem
have.
very differently now.
I shouldn't have chose the regretful self-destruct Pokemon for this one. I didn't even think of that. I was just like, Golem's the silly guy. I think we're gonna safely give everyone a point this round.
We did it.
He's
Yeah.
depressed.
Who does Spiritomb have a crush on?
It has to be a Pokemon.
Yes, I mean, like, what do you mean? What does that mean? Like, do you hope it's you? Aww.
I'm so glad that I am first because I don't want this easy answer stolen away from me. It's Cynthia. Spiritomb has a crush on Cynthia.
Wow.
Formed by 108 spirits combined into one keystone. Statistically, they're going to like the best girl. Come on.
That's sweet though. Like, why would I be good in my battles so Cynthia can?
That's
can
why Cynthia is the
notice?
strongest trainer, is because she has the most loyal, dedicated, strongest Pokemon.
Now, I feel like Mimikyu is, you know, I mean, of course, a ghost type, but it's hiding under the rag. It has, like, the mysteriousness to it. But I feel like Spiritomb would both fall in love with the Mimikyu at first, and then love Mimikyu even more once the disguise is gone. And Mimikyu, on the other side, would be like, yo, like, that's another, like, ghost type, but it's just out and about, and it seems like everything's going well. You know, I feel like they would be a great pair together.
That's actually a cute one. Like, just a spooky.
How did we get all the sad answers for Golem and now all the happy answers for Spiritomb?
He deserves love. What the fuck?
He does deserve love.
I think Spiritomb likes Lopunny. I think that Spiritomb, I don't think he can pull very often, so he just kind of like lusts after something that he knows he can never have. And so I think that's why he looks at Lopunny longingly.
I mean, who can resist a good Lopunny?
So,
Not
yeah.
me.
Hypothetically.
So I actually think that that Spiritomb is bisexual and
Oh.
polyamorous.
Okay.
And I think that he wants to date the Chad and Stacy of the Ghost Pokemon world, Cofragrius and Gothitelle.
Yeah, I feel like they would still understand. Couples are good. I gotta say, these are all fantastic answers, but Cynthia just really stands out to me. I'm sorry,
I should have
Brayden.
been first. I shouldn't have even asked.
It's very cute.
That was incredibly good. It's
Holstering both of my revolvers right now, blowing off the smoke.
what would Tynamo bring to show and tell? What does this guy treasure most of all in his heart to bring to first grade to show his teacher and peers?
I feel like Tynamo would bring his dad to show and tell.
Oh.
I feel like he'd ask him and be like, Dad, you know, they asked me to bring something I find really important, and you're really important. Can I bring you to show and tell?
He's impressed easily, and he brings his most treasured possession to school. He brings his pet rock, which it's a pebble, and he loves it very much.
Does he have
That's-
googly eyes on it or not?
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to combine the two answers, and he's going to bring a Thunderstone because it's
Ooh.
like, I look up to my dad, Electros. One day when I become a big electric, I'm going to be able to use this stone and become big and powerful like my dad.
Oh, like he's
this-
already has it. And
Yeah.
like one day.
I think Tynamo would bring a light bulb.
Okay.
He is still figuring out his place in this world, but he realizes as an electric type that he's special and he has the ability to power this light bulb, which means that he has the ability to power anything he wants growing up, going forward, and that gives him bright ideas for the future.
I love it.
That's cute.
This was so much sweeter than the goal.
Yeah, that's. I'll keep that one in mind for next time. I think I'm giving the point to Void. That one that just
Yeah,
warmed my heart.
I know. It was
Me
too
too.
good.
Dad.
Who bullies Wismer?
Wismer definitely gets bullied by Loudred. Loudred is just mean. It comes from the family. It's like,
Oh, it comes from within the house.
yeah, it's within the household, so he gets it all at home. So people honestly just feel bad for Wismer when it comes to school because they know that their home life is just so bad. So yeah, Loudred just not a good influence.
Cade, go ahead.
Everyone. I really struggled to find a single Pokemon on this entire over 1,000 roster who would not bully the guy that's just, you know, so timid and shy and crying. The apex of the timid, shy, and cry Pokemon.
I have to go with the Pokemon who I think is the playground bully. Gotta be Cubone.
Really?
I think Cubone would bully Whismur with good intentions that Whismur would eventually learn to stand up for himself and evolve into a Loudred. But Cubone simply wants to be like, hey, you gotta be able to stand up for yourself, and would just fight Whismur all the time.
Who is the most likely person to bully this Pokemon? It's Ouija. Ouija says he has no friends. Ouija says he has no friends. Not a single Pokemon would ever be his friend. Everyone hates him. Everyone. We all tried to submit people that were Pokemon that would be his friend, and Ouija said no. They say fuck that guy, and I think Ouija is the ringleader here. He hates him the most. He's the biggest bully.
That is not true, and I'll tell you exactly why. The question was who bullies Whismur. I was giving an actual factual answer. I would not bully him personally. I am different from all of these Pokemon. I would take him under my wing and treat him with kindness and respect that he deserves.
No, I'll be real, Ouija. I gotta give the point to Giwi. I think he would be the first in line to bully Wismer.
Yeah, this thing's getting stomped into a paste.
The mask comes off now.
I think this is the last of this section. What crime would Crustle commit? Oh, you've got a guy! Look at him!
Is tunneling maximum security criminals out of prison. Tunnels up into the cell of the prisoner that he has been paid to let escape through that tunnel. And then bada boom, he makes a nice chunk of change. He goes home to his wife and his kids. He doesn't explain what he does during his day job. And then he does it all again, over and over.
How does that hustle even start? I'm curious.
He was contacted by some very powerful people that I am not allowed to name at this point in
I
time.
see.
I think Crustle would commit robberies. No, maybe it's because I've seen one too many crab memes where crabs have guns and knives and other things. But the main thing here, I don't think Crustle would succeed. I think Crustle would be pretty bad at robbing people to the point where even like the law is just like, oh, here he goes at it again. Because look at him, he's slow. He's gonna try to rob you, but he can't catch up. He's gonna be at the bank. They'll just like walk away.
I actually believe that Crustle would be a very skilled robber. So I said bank robbery. So he, like Cade said, he can burrow underground and then come up underneath the safe, grab all the coins, and then he shell smashes, and then he zooms away.
Oh, he's fast.
This dude's fast. Have you ever played Pokemon Unite? This dude runs around, steals all your
Newman.
camps. He's just a little rat. Like, he is He is the king of stealing things, so I think he would be a very good robber.
I think of him more as like sort of like identity theft, forgery, fraud. I think he sells and makes fake ID for kids. I think he sells alcohol to kids. Like I think it's like low. I think it's low tier crime. Like he's a scummy dude, and he's also sort of out of plain sight. Like he's under a rock. You know what I mean?
He's just such a criminal. I liked everyone's answer, but I think the plot twist of the shell smash really got me. I like that one.
Yeah, there we go.
personally.
Good job, buddy. You get head pats.
This last segment isn't going to be giving points. It's more of critical thinking. What Pokemon could you punt the furthest?
The lightest possible Pokemon, while maintaining a shape that is conducive to being punted, is Meteor from Generation 7.
Ooh.
Meteor is the only Pokemon that weighs 0.7 pounds, so extremely light, but it's also a rock flying type in the shape of a ball, which means you're essentially punting a hardened ball of helium. There's lighter ones, of course, like Cosmog or Flabebe or Ghastly, but you can throw a piece of paper, but it's not going to go very far just because it's light, you know?
It's not about it making sense, okay? My answer's coughing. Okay? Pretty light, you know, pretty gaseous, in a good shape. But no, I thought to myself, what Mon am I the most mad at right now? And a coughing self-destructed during my last and first Nuzlocke to kill my Hypno, and I am so mad at it that I personally could punt it the farthest. Yeah, any other Mon, I'm not like mad at them, but coughing, I can punt coughing.
I looked up the weight of a football, and it's about 1 pound. And Joltik is just over a pound somehow,
Joltik.
despite being
Joltik.
like that. And so I was thinking, you know, there's like a lot of surface area for your foot just to absolutely kick the crap out of a Joltik. So I think
Yeah.
it would fly. I think if you,
Like a bullet.
I mean, assuming that it doesn't just die upon impact, I think it would go extremely far. Like it might not be alive whenever it makes it to the other side, but I think it goes for days.
So I've seen a lot of like early Newgrounds Flash games. I know that Pikachu would go flying, okay? I know that people have a lot of rage in their hearts for Pikachu. He's just like, they don't even know why. He's just the Pokemon that everyone thinks of first, and I think everyone's a little sick of him. We're harboring like a little resentment. So you're gonna kick harder. We've seen it before. You're gonna kick faster. I think he's dense. I think he's gonna go far. I really do.
Oh, all these were incredible answers. We can leave the audience to decide the points for these ones.
You be the judge. Leave a comment down below. Who had the best answer?
See how far you can punt the like button. Smash it right now.
What is the maximum amount of Rattatas you think you could beat in a fight? I forgot to specify, but that was in my notes to specify.
Weapons or no?
Coliseum.
Are we armed?
Weapons or no weapons?
we
No
clothed?
weapons, but 30 minutes prep time.
1 billion Rattatas shall fall by
Bullshit.
my hand.
Uh-uh.
1 billion of them. And I'll tell you exactly why. Can 1 billion lions beat all of the Pokemon? Probably not. A billion is a lot. Can 1 billion Rattatas beat every Pokemon? Now we have a conversation worth talking about.
But this
I
is
think
just
I'm
one
going to use
view.
this 30 minutes of prep time to go gather all of the Pokemon I have caught legitimately and hacked in to fight these Rattatas for me. And I think
Okay.
1 billion is about the threshold that they could take on before they run out of PP, and then I get guide.
Filling out your decks to bring for this Coliseum fight is a good idea, but I will say a billion is too many Rattatas.
A billion? No, they're just small guys. They're little rats. How many rats can you fit into a lion? That's like 100 rats right there.
You can't bring other Pokemon. It's you versus the Pokemon. Like, at no point did Jaden say we could bring other... She said unarmed, right? Having Pokemon with you
I'm
is
not armed.
basically
Pokemons
being
aren't
armed.
arms. They're monsters.
That's not prepping. That's just cheating. Anyway, I know that I could take down at least 100, and I could do it in 20 minutes, so I'm going to try and cut
Whoa.
this short.
You don't think that they would, like, swarm you and it'd get a little overwhelming?
No, I could stomp them.
I think a billion is also pretty good, but a little too small for my legs. I think I can take all of them.
Oh
All
my
of
god.
them.
All of
An
them.
infinite number of
And
random.
Okay,
here's
let's
my
calm
thought
down.
process, alright? I'm not gonna win the fight. I'm losing in the Coliseum. But humans die, and I'm gonna die with a vengeance, and I will haunt every single Rattata until so they die too.
Whoa, you're gonna
Oh.
like perish song them?
Yep, from the afterlife.
So they're winning the battle, but you're winning the war. That's what you're saying?
I'm winning the real fight, you know? I might be dead, but I'll be fine.
I'm probably like a level 26 normal type Machoke, you know, somewhere around there, like 100 base attack, give or take. And so if we're fighting random wild Rattatas, I feel like the only time that I'm ever going to get hit, they're going to outspeed me and hit me is if they click quick attack. And so that's probably, if they have random wild Pokemon AI, that's going to be like a 1 in 4 chance. So I think I could take out like 1,600 Rattatas for the quick attack damage slowly, because like with each karate chop, I can kill like 4 or 5 of them in one
I
chop.
love that that's your
So-
only move, not even a low kick or anything.
I think karate chop is optimal. They're too light for low kicks, so I think I'm just karate chopping through all of them.
Oh my gosh.
And then after like 1,600, I fall, but I can get through. I can take out a bunch of them.
I know I said no points, but I'm gonna give Brayden a point for this one. That's just insane.
He's earned it.
He earned
Come
it. Yeah,
on.
no, like
Yeah, no, he gave an actual number.
he's sweating.
If you could make one Pokemon real, which one would you choose? Very wholesome. I don't want to see any Lopunny answers.
Oh,
Vaporeon.
That is 1 minus point for Cade.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on now.
I'm not trying to get fancy with it. I want my favorite guy to be real. I want Scolipede. I want to ride him around like a little worm bug horse, and he's gonna be my best friend at the end.
It'd be horrific to see Scolipedes in the wild because aren't they like 6 feet tall or something?
Yeah, they're horses. You
They're
can
pretty
ride
big.
them.
Exact same logic for me. I'm making Grovyle real immediately. Like, that dude is just the
Aw.
homie. Like we can chill, play video games, you know, talk about whatever. That dude is just awesome.
yeah, your guys' answers are amazing. I'm gonna go with Sudowoodo, because I just think it'd be hella
Ooh.
funny to see Sudowoodos in the wild, just like,
Yeah. I could
Try to
see them
cross
like
the street.
stopping roads and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, detour, there's a Sudowoodo. This is the section I'm looking forward to the most. We're doing a fuck, marry, kill section. However, we are doing it in the style of random Pokemon generator.
Oh baby, let's go.
We're gonna start with Brayden. Bunnelby, Toxicroak, and Rowlet.
Okay, so I'm killing Bunnelby immediately.
Okay,
I'll marry Rowlet and I'll fuck Toxicroak. That one's pretty easy.
that's fair. I think that's actually the correct answer. Void, Semipour, Scorbunny, and Grumpig.
killing Grumpig, fucking Simipour, marrying Scorbunny.
Good answer.
Interesting.
Good answer.
Interesting.
Me and Scorbunny
Alright.
to the moon.
Yeah. Giwi, Rhyhorn, Ash's Greninja, and Hoopa Unbound.
I'm killing Rhyhorn, not attracted. I'm going to fuck Ash's Greninja because he's sexy as fuck. Like, I'm gonna be real with it, like, damn. And then Koopa's got the ring already. He's ready for me.
Oh, yeah. Cade, you're up here. Sunkern, Tortuga, or Rowlet again.
Oh. Can I
Rowlet's
kill them
back.
all?
No, unfortunately. You're gonna have to fuck one of them, and I'm gonna judge you very hardly.
Let me think. Hang on. Let me think. I can't fuck a turtle, so that one has to die. Sunkern is small and handheld, so I guess I'll fuck it. And Rowlet,
Okay.
I like Rowlet, so I'll marry him. That's fine.
Sure, I just love the idea of can't fuck a turtle, death. This is the last question. If you were forced to eat a Pokemon, which would it be? No grass types allowed, though.
I have to go with the most obvious answer on the list. I'm gonna eat Miltank.
Really?
It is in my belly. Steak is my favorite food, and that's
Yeah.
literally a cow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's just straight up a cow.
I feel like I've been asked this question at least one more time. I feel like the answer is obvious and nobody ever says it. It's Slowpoke. There is a whole story arc about
Oh.
Slowpoke tails being like taken by Team Rocket because they're such a delicacy. I don't know what a Slowpoke tail tastes like. I might never. So if I have the opportunity, I'm eating it.
That's actually really good. That'd probably be
Great
like my
answer.
answer too.
I think that the classic one that is also canon that you can eat them is Farfetch'd. I like duck a lot. I like duck meat. And he comes with his own seasoning. You cook him with the leek that he carries. He has it with him. He's made, dare I say, he was made to be eaten.
The disrespect of eating him with his own leaf is crazy. But
I find
see
it respectful.
you use
All
every
of
part
him
of the
goes.
animal.
I'd go with Magikarp, but I've also had Magikarp Taiyaki So I have eaten a Magikarp.
Oh yeah, I think I was
It was
there
really
for
good.
that.
So yeah, so it's pretty solid. So I can already say that Magikarp tastes good.
Gotcha. I like all those answers. All very, very good. That will wrap up our game show for today. I don't think anyone
thank
wins
you.
or loses in this game, but
into an ugly sweater monster.
Like a big old ball of ugliness.
Evil fusion, huh?
Was that a Dragon Ball Z reference?
Yeah, we're gonna fuse it all together
Uh-huh.
into one ultimate super sweater.
The greatest hits collection of disgusting elements, all on one sweater. Your
All-
one-stop shop for just terrible awfulness.
All brought to us by you.
That brings us to the moment that you all have been waiting for, the big reveal and my surprise. Just like Matt is about to be gifted the scientifically ugliest Christmas sweater as determined by the results of our survey, you watching this video right now have the chance to own one too. By clicking the shopping button in the bottom left corner of your screen, you could own the world's scientifically proven ugliest Christmas sweater. And listen, this is a TheoryWear first. It is our first ever limited run. We are only making one of these in every size available on our website. And once it's gone, it is gone for good. So you better hurry and click that button so that you can own a piece of holiday history. With that out of the way, I can't wait anymore. I need to see the final result for myself. Hold it in my hands and get to... Wait, what's happening? No!
You know, now having worn this for the last half hour, I'm really coming to love it. It's got fun lights. It's really cute. I might wear this bowling later. Amy's gone. Dear Matt, had presents to give, people to see. You know the drill. Here is the ugliest Christmas sweater. Words cannot describe for you the level of unfinished scrawl that is Amy's holiday note here. She disappeared off to the North Pole. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The ugliest Christmas sweater as brought to you by you guys.
With the power of all those previous sweaters fused together, this is what we got.
Oh no. Oh no. Why? There's a lot here that has to be discussed.
Let's run through the, let's call them highlights of our final product, shall we? Starting at the top of the list, Santa himself. This checks off two of our features, giant character and hairy texture. Just take a look at that dirty, dirty beard. Then we have ourselves the full nonsensical pattern, which just makes your eyes water. Why are there so many sizes? Why are none of these stockings matching? And why is the snow yellow? Also, we have ourselves the red overtones and that one random useless bow for our 3D object. This little guy is just gonna haunt me the entire holiday season, though not as much as the pièce de résistance, Santa's feet. We said we needed something to give us that uncanny valley moment, that immediate unease and ew factor. Well, look no further than Santa's four-toed hyperextended feet. Not even the Wiki Feet stands are gonna wanna look at these little piggies. Add in that weird off-white and dirty color palette across the board, and you have yourself one ugly Christmas sweater. You don't have to take my word for it. Time to see the office's response.
Hi. Hello, loved one.
Okay. All right. What is that?
It's a great question. I haven't gone through, looked into that, actually. Why is he out? Like I said, he's got to air, he's got to air him out.
Hey, there's no shoes.
You've got dogs out on your sweater right now. Hey, he's got those leather boots on all the time. He is cooking up a bouillabaisse in those boots. He's making a stew in there.
It's covered in socks, and none of them are on his feet. What is going on?
Are you judging Santa's feet right now?
1,000%. If he's putting them on display, I'm judging him.
This is
Asymmetrical.
no, it's so awful.
How do you feel about the beard? Better question, how do you feel about the beard texture matching the texture of what you're wearing right now?
Is nearly
I was gonna say, separated at birth, perhaps?
beard is like, that is rancid. That's truly rancid.
This reads as chest hair. It doesn't read as a beard.
Anything else bother you about this sweater?
This bow.
I'm sorry, what are we doing here?
There's a bow.
There's one bow. That's the worst thing I've ever seen.
See, that almost, I'm dumb enough that actually makes sense.
The fact that the snowflakes are yellow kills me. Literally, yellow is the worst.
No, do people not usually approve of yellow snow?
Yellow snow is never something you see. Oh!
I don't love the red part.
The socks look like they've been run through the laundry like several times. Achieve that like gray and off-white color that you never want to see on your laundry. Did you not use a color catcher? Like what's going on here?
He didn't clean any of the other white on the sweater though.
No.
You look kind of sickly in it.
Yeah, I do.
It's just a sickly Santa with lots of chest hair and a dirty sweater. Gross. Gross.
That hurt.
So there you have it, my friends, the scientifically ugliest Christmas sweater ever made. All thanks to you and a survey built to hack into your brain's base instincts. No boy, did you guys ever do a great job. This thing is hideous, truly hideous. But is it the worst sweater ever made? Yeah, maybe, maybe not, but it's definitely the only one that's been backed by science. And remember, this is actually something that you can buy right now if you're fast enough. There's only one of each size available, and then it is gone forever, to which I say good riddance, let it die 1,000 deaths in a fire. But you know what? I think we could probably do something like this again next year. Now that we know what science has to say about the psychology of ugly, we can dive into our collective bank of holiday trauma to figure out how to improve on this. Make version 2.0. So leave your suggestions down in the comments, and maybe, just maybe, if a Christmas miracle happens, we'll do a part 2 next year. See if we can one-up ourselves. Maybe make it a holiday tradition here on the channel. Until then, though, I hope you all have a happy holiday season, and as always, my friends, it's just a theory. A style theory. Let me just come out and say it, I love AirGs. The interesting and creepy stories told through the intense levels of puzzle solving is what us theorists live for. Cracking password encrypted websites like Alex Bale's Happy Meat Farm, untangling the hundreds of shorts from the Shorts Wars, hacking through the game files for something like Inscription, it truly makes you feel like real life detectives. And each time we do one of these things, we learn something new, a new cipher, a new technique, something to help us on the next adventure. AirGs literally embody the reason that I started this channel, to learn new things and in turn, share those new things with you guys. Because at the end of the day, in every level you beat, sorry, let me take that one again. Because at the end of the day,
in every level you beat, in each boss battle defeat, with each achievement your view becomes a bit more complete. And with each twist that unfolds and every mystery is solved, we find a new way to see this ball on which we revolve. These games have secrets inside, and as a team we can find them. Give a blank page and a clear horizon, so why not do a little theorizing? I think it's time we did a little theorizing.
hello internet, welcome to Game Theory, where that wonderful soundbite you just heard was a brand new song that's been released today by the incredibly talented Stupendium. If you thought that chorus was fire, then the whole song is an active volcano. This collaboration has actually been a year in the making, so what I want you to do, go and check out the full video over on their channel. Link is in the description, it's up in the upper right hand corner, it's in all the places that you can possibly link another video. I was honored that Stoops actually approached us with the idea of making a song all about us and the history of game theory and all the great stupid ideas that we've had over the years. But then we got our editor Ty to put together the music video. And you know that when our editors get involved, there's gonna be a buttload of references and Easter eggs crammed into every second. And who knows, there might even be a secret ARG thrown into the mix as well, with a little prize at the end for anyone who's curious enough. Or maybe not, who knows? Anyway, that full song is available on Stupendium's channel. I would love it if you gave them some support. They're an amazing and underappreciated music channel. If you're into nerdcore music, you're gonna love what you find over there. Go to that video and tell them what your favorite thing to theorize about is in the comments. Speaking of secrets hidden in unusual places, today we're gonna be talking about another ARG mystery full of corporate espionage and deception, but this one actually came from somewhere no one would have predicted. Typically, ARGs show up as something completely new, like a new YouTube channel or a random website, but this one came from a website that's been around for decades. A website so completely unassuming that never in my wildest dreams would I have ever imagined an ARG spawning from it, which makes it the optimum place for an ARG. This one comes from the educational flash game website Cool Math Games. Yeah, seriously. Now, for those of you who haven't been exposed to this masterpiece of educational nostalgia, CoolMathGames.com is a website that hosts thousands of Flash and HTML games that started all the way back in 1997. This site was designed to be an alternative to all the other Flash-based websites websites at the time, like Addicting Games, Armor Games, and of course the ever-popular Newgrounds. While all these other websites had a ton of games, they also tended to be heavy on violence and gore and mature themes, which wasn't a problem in and of itself, but maybe not what you want your teacher to find you playing in the middle of class. This is where Cool Math Games came in. They still offered entertaining games, but they removed all the violence and mature stuff and instead made the games that were so fun that, quote, you forget that you're getting a mental workout. At least, according to them. You could learn spatial awareness in Run 3, cooperative puzzle solving in Fireboy and Water Girl, multitasking with every Papa Pizzeria spin-off in existence. Clearly, some of these games are more mathy than others, and according to one of our writers and a former teacher, Mike, the reason for the name was just there to avoid school firewall blockers. Sadly, this turned out to be nothing more than a schoolyard rumor. Sorry, Mike. But while Cool Math Games was happy to debunk that conspiracy theory, clearly the idea stayed with them, because in honor of Spoopy Month, Cool Math Games decided to reawaken those theory fires, launching a new type of game on their site, an alternate reality game. But before I even had the chance to dive into it, it was already gone. All social media posts, blogs, every shred of evidence of this game's existence completely wiped clean. So I booted up the Wayback Machine to find every detail that I could about this ARG, and when I did, I realized that something was clearly going wrong at CMG HQ, something that they're not telling us. We've got ourselves a rogue employee trying to blow the whistle on a company-wide conspiracy, a game that was never meant to see the light of day, and the life of a child quite literally hanging in the balance. Grab your calculators and ciphers, theorists. It's time for us to solve the cool math lore of Cool Math Games. The ARG kicked off on the official Cool Math Games Instagram back in October. Normally, this is just a haven for the dankest of memes, but on this particular day, something changed. We're introduced to Maddie, the company's social media manager, as she discovers a strange folder that contains development documents for a new prototype game. It has a character collecting balloons by solving puzzles and a monster waiting for you to fail, which, if you're a Cool Math veteran, you might recognize as sounding very similar to their version of Hangman. While they certainly wanted to help kids with spelling, they needed to get around the more traditionally violent premise of Hangman. Instead of hanging from a noose, a little boy would instead hang on balloons. If he failed to guess the correct letters, one by one the balloons would pop, and he'd eventually fall into the mouth of this monster called the Beast. Not entirely sure that gets around the whole violence thing, but as they put it, quote, it had some whimsical charm to it, so I guess it's fine. Whimsical child murder. We're very familiar with that on this channel. Also, that little boy, the developers actually do give him a name. It's Balloon Boy, because everything I touch crumbles to dust and becomes FNAF. Anyway, while the documents Maddie shares seems to match up closely with the game that we all know, apparently this original prototype didn't come out quite as expected. Branching pathways, strange endings, word solutions being more negative words like alone and darkness. All of these elements were insisted upon by this unknown developer, in some cases even saying the game physically crashed if they weren't included. And so the team decided to scrap the prototype and start fresh with a new developer, which would go on to result in the Hangman game that we all know and love and play a whole heck of a lot of during computer time at school. However, the document does end on a bit of an ominous note. Quote, but this developer still has that game and wants the world to know about it. Naturally, Maddie's confused about this and so asks if any of her colleagues knew about the folder. She gets a response from Antonia, who asks where Maddie got the folder because, according to them, they thought that they'd gotten rid of everything from that project. Antonia says that they can discuss it over lunch the next day. Unsurprisingly for an ARG, the next day rolls around and everything in the office feels different. Colleagues don't show up to work. Those that do are acting strange, like missing their lunch date with Maddie. Maddie knows that she must be onto something, and so she keeps digging, uncovering an email exchange between Antonia and the mysterious developer from 2017. After days of back and forth messages, the developer gave Antonia a build of the game, but joked that the game had a mind of its own, ending the exchange with a simple good luck. Clearly, there's more to this prototype than just some dark imagery. But what's strange is in the initial report, the developer seems to be warning Cool Math Games about the game and its demands. But now he's offering it up freely with some ominous warning? What's he seen? What's changed here? Needless to say, at this point, all of us here, we were hooked. And this is where we move from Instagram storytelling into full-blown ARG territory. Maddie showed us that hidden in the source code of the actual website, there were these cryptic messages. Let me out. I can't see. Help me. Can you see me? Immediately, this is giving me some welcome home vibes. Someone trapped inside the website, unable to see us, asking if we can see them and wanting us to free them. The question is this a force of good or something far more menacing? We start to get an idea the next day because now there's a massive hole on the main homepage for everyone to see. Of course, this hole is clickable, and it brings you to this page, which has not one, but 3 encrypted messages that we need to unpack. Oh boy, Christmas really did come early this year. The first thing that caught our eye was the page's URL. Rather than it being just glitchy text or an ominous message, it was a random string of 2-digit numbers, 24, 32, 31, 34, 43, 44. The weird thing is, all the numbers are 2-digit numbers, and all the digits are between 1 and 4. Is that a coincidence? No. The Cool Math team actually pulled out a brand new cipher that we've never explored board here on the channel, and it's actually a really cool one. It goes by a couple of different names, a nihilist cipher, a Polybius square cipher, but it's probably most commonly known as a tap code. Tap codes work by transmitting pairs of 1 to 5 taps separated by a pause. Every possible combination of 1 to 5 taps corresponds to a letter of the alphabet based on this chart, with C and K taking up the same space. It's similar to Morse code, but it's actually way more versatile thanks to not needing a way to have different lengths of sounds. This makes it especially useful for one group in particular, inmates. You see, if you tap on a bar of your cell, it's going to continue to vibrate for an imprecise amount of time. There's also no guarantee that you'll have 2 different items to create 2 obviously separate tones for use in Morse code either. So instead, the tap code became popular. How does it work for our mysterious URL? Well, 2 taps followed by 4 taps means we go down to the 2nd row and over to the 4th column, translating to an I on the chart. 32 means we go to the 3rd row, 2nd column, translating to M. We carry on like this until we get to the final code, I'm lost. I'm willing to bet that this right here is the same person that's been communicating with us through the source code. The person that was trapped inside the website, kind of like a prisoner, needing to be let out. Which I have to say is just an extra level of smart storytelling, using a prisoner-based code for a digital prisoner. Cool math games, more like cool math storytellers, cool writer games, cool lore makers. You know what, just stick with the cool math games. The tab title for this page is also a code, a Morse code, which also translates to I'm lost. But the final puzzle on this page does give us something different. It's a massive wall of 1s and 0s, obviously binary code, which says the following. Hello, can you hear me? I'm looking for someone. I hear strange noises. Please help me. Finally, we have ourselves a bit more to play with than just the same 2 words. Based on them saying that they're looking for someone, we know that there's more than one person involved in this mystery. Is it perhaps linked to Maddie's missing colleagues? Is this a classic story of people getting sucked into a game for disobeying the AI that lies within? If that's the case, we should probably make sure that we're not getting on anyone's bad side. Hold on, it looks like they're sending us another tap code. SUBSCRIBE. Subscribe. YouTube even made the button glow when I said that, which means that it has to be important. You'd better go ahead and click it so you don't suffer the same fate as Maddie's colleagues. See, you even get an explosion when you hit the subscribe button. We have to be on the right track. Let's keep going. So we have multiple someones trapped inside the website, but that's kind of where the puzzles end. We're kind of at a bit of a loss on what to do about it. Thankfully, Maddie comes in to save the day. She finds and uploads the mysterious prototype that we've heard so much about directly onto the Cool Math Games website. The anonymous developer of the prototype also comes out of the woodwork to email Maddie, giving her this warning. I saw you've been trying to track down my game. Don't. You'll thank me later. Which is precisely the kind of thing we theorists thrive on. Tell us not to look into a mystery, and we most certainly will. The game starts off by dropping us into the middle of a black and white forest, with arrows on the screen to help guide the character through, both features that were mentioned in the initial reports of this prototype. Our protagonist has gotten separated from his friends, and he has to search the forest in order to catch back up with them. This right here, this is who's been calling out to us. I'm lost. I'm looking for someone. Please help me. It's our main character. They're looking for their friends out in the forest, getting lost and needing us to help guide them to safety. But that's not the only thing that we're presented with on this first screen. In the bottom left, we have a counter that says found 0. So obviously we're gonna need to start collecting something. The bottom right has glitchy text, which I suspected was important because all glitches tend to be important. Then I realized they could actually be decoded. You see, those special characters, each of them line up with a number key on your keyboard, providing that you're using the American keyboard. Creative director Tom, he was getting very confused at this point of the script. By taking your American Freedom keyboards, you can now replace all of those special characters with their respective numbers, and then translate that into another tap code, which translates to yet another found counter. You have 3 options to progress further into the forest. You can go left, right, or forward. If you just keep going straight, then the last screen is a jump scare by the beast. The screen fades to black, and you're brought back to the beginning of the game. Our lead character recites the same monologue, and off we go again. Just your typical game respawn stuff. The objective of the game is to go left and right on each screen to solve hangman-like puzzles along the way. Get one wrong, boom, jump scare, fade to black, restart. Solving each puzzle correctly, though, rewards you with a shiny red balloon and the found counter in the bottom left ticking up. But balloons aren't the only thing that you find on this journey. We also uncover a pile of glitchy popped balloons and a white hat. Our character notes that he doesn't remember any of his friends wearing a hat like this. In fact, he says it looks identical to his own. Suddenly, the pieces start to click into place. If you take a look back at the real Hangman game, we can see that this hat is exactly the same as the one Balloon Boy wears. So clearly we are playing as prototype Balloon Boy. And whereas the hat and popped balloons tells us that this game loop that we've been in, it isn't the game resetting, it's a new version of Balloon Boy each time. When he's devoured by the beast, he's actually being devoured, leaving behind only his hat and his balloons, just for another Balloon Boy to start entering the journey. Every time we fail at this game, we are sending another Balloon Boy to his grave. Let's just make sure that that doesn't happen again, shall we? By collecting all 6 of the red balloons and making your way to the end of the forest, you're rewarded ended with one final cutscene. In it, Balloon Boy gets lifted into the air by his balloons, and he says, "I tried to search for them. I was afraid of a monster following me, yet there was something I never found. It's not just myself here. There's another who hasn't found an escape. Perhaps I need to trek back into the darkness." At the end of the monologue, the next button is replaced by glitchy text that says, "Find me?" What's interesting is that the words highlighted in yellow are the answers to the Hangman questions, which you'll recall are answers that were forced in by the game itself, not by the developer. Without these answers, the game would crash, so they're trying to tell us something. But before you can even begin deciphering that message, you get transported back to the beginning of the game again. Another Balloon Boy dead, another bad ending. So we need to instead aim for the darkness. And to do that, we need to do what theorists do best, click on all them glitches. After solving a puzzle and being offered a red balloon, a weird glitchy insect appears hidden on the screen somewhere. If you manage to click it, you're treated to another Hangman puzzle, a more difficult one. If you give the correct answers this time of sight, descend, other, appear, become, and together, you get these glitchy black balloons, and that glitchy found counter ticks up. After collecting all 12 balloons, 6 red and 6 black, heading to the end of the game grants us a final choice of the light path or the dark path. We were told that we needed to trek back into the darkness, so I guess the option is clear. This leads us directly to the Beast himself. Just like Balloon Boy, he uses the words from the Hangman puzzles in his ending monologue. "The strange forest is something I once called my home, yet when I descend further, I see things are not as they seem. This forest is like no other. We cannot stay. There is no other solution. Do not fear me. I want to become your friend. Perhaps we can escape together." The Beast then gets carried into the air on the glitchy black balloons before you two join him via your red balloons. "There is no fear. Join me," he says. The screen then fades to black one more time, but we don't go back to the beginning because finally we've escaped. Huzzah! Hooray! That should be a good thing, right? We did what we set out to do. We freed the little boy along with his little beast friend. No more death loops, no more glitchy text, no more dead kids. Except, we all know the truth. That's never how these stories go. Here's what's really going on. Looking again at that final monologue, it became clear to me that it wasn't Balloon Boy that was crying out to us. It was the Beast. Balloon Boy doesn't seem to have any idea what's going on, but the Beast, I suspect that when he says that he descended further and realized that the world isn't what it seems, that was him figuring out that this isn't a real world, but a video game world. And so he feels lost, unable to go anywhere. The phrase, "I'm looking for someone," wasn't him looking for Balloon Boy, he was looking for us, the player. By trying to speak to us, he got our attention and forced us to look into this mystery further. He was looking for someone smart enough to solve his codes and answer the questions that would lead us straight to him and his ultimate goal of escape. Now, that might not seem like a bad thing on the surface. The Beast was kinda nice, and I think we'd all get bored living in a loop like that forever and ever. But when you pull back and remember the context of this ARG, it reveals a darker twist to the whole thing. The question that's bugged me the whole time is why were the Cool Math Games team so afraid of this prototype? The original dev said the game had a mind of its own, which from what we've seen would most likely be referring to the Beast, the one forcing messages into the game and speaking to us outside it. Naturally, a video game with a mind of its own, creepy enough, but it felt like there was something more here, especially when you then had the dev actively trying to spread the word about the game. The detail that stood out to me the most was the monster's name, the Beast, especially because it wasn't just a normal name, but more of a title, the Beast. Felt odd, felt like you could have just named it a monster and called it a day, but no, the dev chose a title that's associated with one character from across pop culture and religion, Satan. The book of Revelation from the Christian Bible talks of the Beast, this monster that's coming to destroy